Welcome to Oppsell, where top sales legends reveal the playbooks they hardly ever share. With your host, Wilson DK.
Sales solution experts. It's real talk, real strategies.
Starting now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. And our guest today is a special one. She is well versed. I always bring, the experienced people to have conversations with us. She's well versed in the sales ecosystem. She's a sales professional, and she has excelled in her career. And it is an honor to share, this conversation with her, so as she can give us more insight as to how she has been so successful, what she's been doing in her career to stay at tops. I would like to add here that she has also been in the trenches, so she knows what it takes from building from the ground up. And ladies and gentlemen, make welcome for Juliet Jemedafe. Hi, Juliet.
Hi, Wilson. Thank you. The pleasure is mine. It's an honor for me to be on your podcast. What a great introduction. It feels like you're talking about someone else and not me. So thank you. My name is Juliet. I started my career in banking. I always had this dream of working in the bank, when I was much younger. Yes. So I'm happy that I was able to live that dream. But one thing that working in the bank did for me, it was an introduction to building relationships. Absolutely. That's where I learned, which is important in sales, that you learn how to build and nurture relationships. So that's where, firsthand, I got the opportunity to learn to connect with people, understand their needs, and look for ways to provide solutions to them in a way that profits both the bank and the customer. So that's where I started my career. I did that for a couple of years but during that time, I discovered my love for technology. Yes, because I would always play around with different solutions in the bank. And so when an opportunity came for me to work with a tech firm, I thought, oh, this is perfect. Even though my background is marketing and I studied marketing, I said, oh, wow, I will not miss out on this opportunity. So I did that for a couple of years. I started with administration until sales. Sales found me. I didn't go out looking for a sales role. Sales
I like
found
that.
me. Yes. So it has been an interesting journey. I've worked as a sales administrator. I worked as a sales administrator in that company for a couple of years, building relationships, nurturing relationships, handling sales calls, discovery calls, going for demos and all that. And then after that, so in that role, I was able to build my skills in sales. And then after that, I've gone on to work in several tech companies, in several sales roles. And currently I work in a cybersecurity firm as a business development manager, where I'm doing the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. And, seeing that you started from the ground up, taking the sales administrator role, and also starting from banking is interesting because, in banks, majority of the bank's roles involve selling. So marketing, sales, you're talking to people, resolving client complaints and hoping that they put more money or look to them, looking what for investments. That's the bank that is. So there's always an element of selling, in your career. So that is quite interesting.
Yes.
So to go in, I mean, this is a perfect way to start the conversation. You did mention, networking, building a strong sales network is the core of your principles, and this has built you and made you to go as far as where you are. Right now you are in the business development role in a huge cybersecurity firm. Yes. I'd like to ask a couple of questions, about how to build a very strong sales network. So the first thing is, why is it crucial? Why is building a strong sales network crucial for success? Because you're the right person to ask this question because, this has been your backbone. So
yes. So I would say it is important to build a sales network because I don't know if you've heard the phrase, anything that doesn't grow dies.
Oh, yes.
We hear that a lot, and that is so true with sales. If you are not innovating, if you are not staying ahead of competition, if you're not growing, eventually there will be a decline, which could lead to your business dying.
Absolutely.
So your sales network it includes that ecosystem of your internal people, your
Yes.
business partners, other industry professionals. They are your support system. So if you want to expand your business, if you want to grow, if you want to stay relevant, it is important that you have that strong sales network supporting your business. So for example, you want to go to a new market, you might not know how to get there. Your
Yeah.
business partner could be an inroad for you to go into that market. They're on the ground, they understand the terrain, they'll help you get there faster. Yes. So how much you nurture and build that ecosystem not only determines how far you go, but how fast you get there. It helps you determine or generate leads, the amount of leads you get. How much you nurture that system will determine the leads that you get.
Yes.
Yes. It will help you connect with other industry professionals and get new opportunities. So if you're looking for new opportunities, it is important that you build that strong network of people that are supporting your business. If it's your internal team, are you training them? How are you supporting them to achieve your business goals? What resources are you providing to your sales team to enable them, meet their topmost potential? Are you getting the best out of the resources that you have? So it's really important, and there's a lot that goes into it. But majorly, it's important to nurture and build that ecosystem. So whether it's your partners, your sales team, other industry professionals, if you want to grow and expand, you have to nurture those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And talking about nurturing, you mentioned your ecosystem. There are key players in this ecosystem, right? What are the best strategies for connecting with the key industry players in the ecosystem?
Okay, so one way, there's so many ways to go about it. One way to connect with them is leverage social media platforms. Where are these professionals? Where do you find them? Take LinkedIn, for example. Are you connecting with people on LinkedIn? Are you attending conferences, industry conferences? So one way to do that is also to attend conferences, and not just to attend, engage with people, network, be interested in other people and what they do. Show a genuine interest in what they're doing. So attend those conferences on LinkedIn. Are you putting yourself out? As a salesperson, you need to put yourself out there. Otherwise, no one will know about you or your company or whatever it is that you do. So aside from building a personal brand, you also need to build a professional brand. What kind of content are you sharing? Are you sharing valuable content to your audience that you're trying to reach? You need to share valuable content. You need to engage with people. You need to be genuine in your interactions. Put out valuable information that will attract the kind of people that you're trying to get.
Oh yeah. That is great, because I see in the age we are in, with technology and all, you should also, as much as possible, leverage your technology and put out content. Content is the only way people would the only way you can stand out of the crowd or stand out from the crowd, because it has to be unique. It's just not not about putting random content on social media. It has to be content that will be of value to the audience, your target audience. And that way, when they see you, or when you approach them, either via cold emails, cold calling, or walking up to them at conferences or events, they would, I've seen your content, you're quite helpful. They perceive you as a quote unquote a thought leader. And that is quite interesting. And then you start building relationships, because that's like the bedrock of everything. All right. So now moving into relationships building. We've talked about using content to build relationships, or as a bedrock, a stepping stone, a door opener, where you are trying to build relationships. What are the mistakes that a salesperson must avoid when building professional relationships?
So while building professional relationships, you must try, don't send out the wrong communication to people, because people see what you're putting out there, and they're judging you by what they see. I mean, they don't know you.
Yeah.
So the way you communicate with them and the information that they're putting out there determines how they interact with you.
Oh yeah. So can you expand on this in terms of, what wrong communications can be described as? What is a wrong communication?
So when you share things that will incite some kind of feelings, negative feelings, or incite some kind of negative attention, you need to be careful not to put out things that will draw negative attention to you or to your company.
Okay.
Yes. You also need to be careful how you say it and the way you put information out there, because they might perceive you to be someone that, depending on what you put out there, that is negative.
Okay.
They might have a wrong perception of your company that is not true. Yes. So you need to be careful what you put out there, what people see about your company, how you present yourself, even if it's your personal brand, how you present yourself to people, that also counts. And then you need to have like you need to show consistency. So like on all your channels, they should say, oh, this is how you should have a brand voice that speaks from all your different channels that you use to communicate with people. They should be able to say, oh, this is consistent with this brand. Yes. So that's one thing to look out for as well.
Yeah, you touched on something quite interesting because you said consistency in all your social media platforms. So
yes.
I've seen instances like this where people say, these are my tweets or these are my posts, and not that, or doesn't reflect the thoughts, opinions of the industry I work with or the company I work for.
Yes.
Can that fly, or are you just saying, if you put that caveat, it doesn't fly? You just have to be consistent with what you're saying. What it means is that you could be perceived as someone that doesn't have a personal life, a private life, and you talk about business. Then
yes.
the audience could perceive you as a robot. All you do is work and sell. So
yes.
how can you manage that to ensure that, look, in as much as you're trying to be consistent all through your social media platforms,
yes,
you're not sending the wrong signal as, oh, I'm a workaholic. All I know to eat and live is the products I sell, the product I'm serving to customers and clients.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you
so
balance
that can
that?
be tricky.
Yeah.
It can be tricky. But you have to find a balance.
You
have to. So yes, talk about yourself, but in the same vein, you have to be cautious as well, because you are tied to that company.
Okay.
Yes. So even if you say what you put out there is not, it has nothing to do with the company I work with, it's still you. You are like an extension of that brand.
Oh yes.
Yes. So you have to find that balance. Talk about yourself. You can talk about personal stuff, but how you put it, the context. Yes. Yes, context matters. Yeah. So we just have to be cautious.
Just be cautious. So guys are listening to this, be careful. Banters, be careful with the banters.
Yes.
The political banters, the football banters, be careful with it, because really and truly, you are still the same person.
Yes.
So with the banters, in as much as you put the caveat on your bio saying, oh, like this are tweets are mine, my personal views and opinions,
yes.
But you're presenting a brand. So with the banters in there, somehow, some way, that also is a reflection of the brand you're working for or the brand you're trying to build. So I think balance is key.
Yes.
And be a little diplomatic in the things you put out there, because once it's there on record, it's there on record. There's no going back. Even if you take it down, someone probably must have taken a screenshot of what you said, and
yes, they say the internet never forgets.
The internet never forgets. Exactly. Yes. So these are things that we have to be mindful of, when you're putting content on social media. That's a very, very good way to put it. Finding a balance and striking to ensure that you are not perceived in a wrong way. And even if your intentions are pure, the way you put content on social media, it is left for everybody to discern or to make meaning of it. You are not going to be there to be consistently saying, oh no, this is not what I meant. I meant it this way. You can't say that once it's out there. So that's why you need to be very, very careful what you post out there.
Yes.
So now, just going back to it again, we talked about networking, we talked about building how to create a strong sales network and going to events is something that you did mention.
Yes.
How important is attending industry events for network building?
It is very important. First, as a brand, if you are looking to create brand awareness,
Yes.
yes, it's a great way to create brand awareness and to connect with people. So, for example, if you are attending a conference as an exhibitor, it's a
Yes.
great way to connect with potential customers. It's a great way for you to interact with your existing customers because they get to see you in person. If they have any questions, they can ask you. It's a great way to network with others as well, to build relationships with other companies.
True.
You get an opportunity to offer expert advice. And then you are up to date with the trends, what is going on with the industry, what are your competitors doing? Because that gives you a platform to not only exhibit, but to see what are your competitors doing, what are they talking about. It also gives you access to new opportunities in the industry. Yes. So you're connecting with people in person, you're building rapport with people, you're creating brand awareness, you're getting access to industry insights. So there's so much that you can leverage from those conferences. And then people that have never heard about you, they get an opportunity to meet you. And you could also show a demo. So there are conferences that I've attended where you get an opportunity to see a product, depending on what you're selling. If you're not selling a service, if you have an actual solution that you're promoting, it's an opportunity for people to see your software in action. Yeah. So conferences are really important. I have attended conferences. I attended one recently where Calanova was one of the sponsors. And it was an opportunity. It was a women in tech conference, and it was an opportunity for me to connect with other people. And it was so eye-opening. I also took part in the breakaway session where we talked about how to get more women into the tech sector.
Yes.
And they also created different groups where we had to, so even if you're someone that is an introvert, they gave everyone an opportunity to speak, to talk about what they do, what business they're in, and to connect there and then. And I've had people reach out to me on LinkedIn, people I connected with in that conference, to say, oh, another conference is coming up and this is the topic. If you find this interesting, these are the dates if you would like to attend. So it's a great way to connect with people and also to get to gain insights.
Yes, and just to add, I also believe that from experience, attending conferences helps people put a face to a name. So for instance, you might be on LinkedIn, you can be, having cold calls, sending out cold messages, putting out content on your platforms, and when you put a face to a name and walk up to people you're trying to reach out to on event grounds, it makes it a lot easier. It breaks the ice, and I give an instance. I think there was a time I was sending out a mail to a top leader. She was a top leader, or she currently is a top leader in global insurtech businesses in the top insurance firm globally. And I've been trying to reach out to her, apparently on LinkedIn. Apparently, her LinkedIn and social media platforms are handled by her PA. So when I approached her, I said, hey, I've been trying to reach out to you on LinkedIn. This is who I am and all. She said, oh yeah, as a matter of fact, my PA handles all that. And she handles a lot of people trying to reach out to her. So it takes a lot of time to get to people. Maybe she would have gotten to me in a couple of weeks. But me meeting her at the conference ground broke that ice and also disrupted the meeting. So it's important to, as a salesperson, not to shy away from conferences, like you said, and also not be a spectator rather. You have to be actively participating. And you have to do things that would make people remember you.
So you need to engage with people, to build that rapport.
That's good. That's good, because I think one of my sales mentors did tell me that, look, he had a guy that always attended conferences with a beach shirt. And it's out of it because this is a corporate or smart casual event. People going in
Yes.
blazers and shirts, but he was going to event with a beach shirt. And why? Because he wanted to stand out. People say, "Oh yeah, I know that guy with the
I
beach
know
shirt."
that guy with the beach
Yeah,
shirt.
you're the guy with the
Yes.
beach shirt, and conversations, would remain. It will stick. Yeah, and that's so you have to find ways to stand out from the crowd. And when
Yeah.
you're having conversations with these people that not only you are seeking attendance or attention from,
Yes.
you need to make a lasting impression. So you have to
Yeah.
just think about that for yourself. Yeah.
It might even be an opportunity for you to close the deal there.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Close the deal. It's because somebody might just be sitting up on a deal and you're trying to get him on an email and say, "Look, I'm very busy," and he attends this conference, like, bam, yeah, here you are.
Yes. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk
a bit
about
more.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's a good strategy, actually. It's
Yeah.
a good strategy. So in with that as well, not to downplay social media. Social media is also very good. I mean, it's a one-to-many platform. You can reach out to as many people conveniently if you have the right strategy.
Yes.
So the question now is, what role do you think social media plays in building and maintaining networks?
Well, it plays a really important role. Take LinkedIn, for example.
Yeah.
If you are looking to connect with certain personas, to generate leads, that's a good platform to connect with people and to generate leads. So there are different ways you could use LinkedIn aside from connecting. As I said earlier, you're putting relevant information out there. Somebody could be looking out for something that you're selling. So that's a great way to sell to people, where you're putting information about your product or your service online. You could take advantage of features that are on LinkedIn, for example, leaving voice notes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So you're not only connecting, you're engaging, you're leaving voice notes to say, "Oh, I sent you." So if you send a cold email to someone, for example, and they're not responding to you, you could go to LinkedIn, connect with them, drop them a voice note. Not everyone receives voice notes. So sometimes I see that potential customers appreciate it. You're doing something different, something out of the box. So you're saying, "Oh, I sent you an email. I didn't hear from you. I thought it would be a good way to connect, for you to see the face and connect the name and all that. Oh, this is what we do. Let me know what you think about this." Not necessarily badgering them, but it's a good way to get the conversation started.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting. The voice note feature on LinkedIn. Yes. Sometimes it breaks the ice.
Yes.
Because when and that's a way to stand out because
Yes.
tons of people will be sending out cold emails.
Yes.
And I, for one, if I get cold emails, tons of them, I do not know which to select because they may a lot and I might take my time. But somebody that sent a cold email might have something very urgent to discuss with me.
Yes.
So one way to send out that urgent information, that urgent request, is to think outside of the box and go, unconventional. Send a video, send a voice note.
Yes.
That could hit the ground running for you or open the doors that you seek to open.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. Okay. So yeah, let's move up. Let's switch the gears up a bit now. Let's talk about negotiations. You have been in the banking ecosystem. You've worked in sales technologies and sales ecosystems as well. And at least majority of the work that we do is to try to get deals across the line, over the line, and it has to do with negotiating. You have to have very, very tough and solid negotiation skills because not all the time that you put up an order or a contract in front of a customer and customer says, "Oh yeah, I'm happy, we sign up." No, it could take weeks, it could take months. You could be having to dot your I's properly, cross your T's properly, renegotiate, take up modules, take in products, restructure the whole deal entirely. So the questions I'd like to ask, is, what are the key principles of successful negotiations?
So I would say the first thing is to be prepared. Don't go into any negotiation unprepared.
Yes.
You have to have all the information. Why did the customer come to you in the first place? What are their challenges? What is it that you need to solve for them? So you need to go in very prepared with all the information. everything the customer has talked about, what they're looking to solve,
Yeah.
and don't just sell features. Don't go there and talk about features. Go there and talk about value, how you want to help them solve that problem. And then you need to go in there with an open mind. You need to be flexible. You can't say, oh, this is it, and then that's it. You need to be open to making concessions.
Right.
You need to be ready to handle objections, because the customer won't accept everything that you say. you know so you need to be open to handling objections and how you're going to counter those objections. You also need to go there and actively listen to what they're saying. It's important to be very attentive, to read the room, understand who the key players are in that room, in the discussion. Understand because not everyone will have the same pain point. So sometimes you're in a negotiation and there are different stakeholders. What is important to one person might not be so important to the other. They all have different needs there.
Agreed.
So you need to understand what is important to each stakeholder in that room and how to address those concerns. You get to talk about pricing. Are you willing to make a price concession? Does everything have to happen in that discussion? Do we need to take time out, take a recess, look at the details, and then come back? So there's a lot that needs to go on or goes on in those negotiations, and each negotiation is different. Yes, so you have to be prepared. You have to know what the customer wants, what's important to them. Be, open to concessions, listen to what they're saying, and, offer to, if you need to involve someone, involve them. Yes.
Interesting. You had a lot of, you put a lot of salient points. You had some touch points and key things, and highlighted some key things and strategies. I would like to expand on those key things, right now. You mentioned active listening, right?
Yes.
Let's start with active listening. So what role does active listening, play in successful negotiations?
It is really important to really listen to what people are saying.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you respect and you value them.
Yes.
That you appreciate them being in that room. Because, these are people that you have to think long term. So you're not just looking at now, the discussion you're having presently. Could this be a lifelong customer? What is in it for both parties at the end of the day? So you want to create a win-win situation. So you need to really listen to what they're saying and think long term. Yes. You also need to actively listen to get what they're saying. Ask as many questions. Uncover their pain points. And if you don't listen, you won't know what exactly it is that needs to be resolved, or what challenge it is that needs to be solved. So you need to listen to uncover all their pain points. You need to listen to see, are there opportunities in this discussion? Could there be an opportunity to collaborate in the future? Is there an opportunity to cross-sell? Yes, because from those discussions, you might realize, oh, this person actually needs something else that maybe a third party that we work with can provide, or there are other products that we have in our product suite that we could also bring into this discussion. So if you're not listening, to get all that information, you'll lose out on new opportunities. You won't get the customer's respect. It's also important because it builds trust. They feel like, oh, this person listens, and so yes, we can trust you. It builds rapport. So that's where listening helps build that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, it helps you build and nurture your relationship. So the customer feels like the potential customer feels like, oh, we can trust. These are people we can trust, or this is a responsible company. And then it shows that you have empathy, like you realize that they have a problem and you are there to solve it. You're not just there to sell, you're there to solve their problem. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting, and with active listening, you also will be you also spot things that are not being said.
Yes.
Yeah, because you look at the verbal cues, non-verbal cues, body
Yes.
language,
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing. If you keep talking, or if you talk so much in a conversation, in a sales conversation, talk more than you listen, there are high chances that you would miss out on things that are unsaid.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
high chances that you miss out on things that are said, or what body language the person
Yes.
is exuding, because
Mm.
you could, from just looking at someone, listening to what they're saying and what they're not saying, you could
Yes.
actually tell where the deal is going to go. Are you going to
Where
get
the
a
discussion
closure
is going
that
to go.
day?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you gonna
Yes.
have to reconvene because the people are not satisfied, or do carry out proper or extended demos, product
Yes.
demos, or other product feature discussions.
Mm.
You also mentioned something that is also important, not to sell product and features. It's
Yes.
don't talk about the bells and whistles. It's important to
Mm.
talk about how your service would drive an increased value, or
Yes.
put value in the hands of the potential customers. That is the essential thing. And I think a lot of salespeople fall into this trap of saying, "Oh yeah, our product is second to none, the best, it has the best
Yes.
technology." All
Yes.
that is beautiful, but
Yes.
to the person that's going to cut the check in the end, what they're looking at is, how will this bring value? How will
Value.
it increase revenue for me? How will
Yes.
it increase my brand, or improve my
Yes.
brand awareness? These are the
Or my
things that,
processes.
or my
Yes.
processes, these are the things
Yes.
that they look out for, not really the sophisticated technology. Yeah, that is a plus, but will that plus shift the revenue to a positive limelight, increase
Yes.
revenue, improve brand, improve processes? That's the key question.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So in negotiations as well, what common mistakes should salespeople avoid, sales professionals, in negotiation? What must you not do? Your do's and don'ts. Don't. Yeah.
So you need to be able to manage expectations.
Mm, mm,
Don't make promises you can't keep.
mm-hmm,
Don't
mm.
say, "Oh, we'll do this for you and we'll do that for you," knowing well that you aren't able to do that, or or that your solution cannot do that. Don't make promises you can't keep. And one of the mistakes you shouldn't make is, or one that I see people make, is not following up.
Oh yes, yes,
Yes, not following up. A customer
absolutely.
asks for information that will help with the negotiation process, and you're unavailable. They're not getting what they need from you to take a decision. So you need to avoid that. You also need to avoid poor communication.
Yes, that's
Yes.
important.
So no matter how frustrated you are with how the deal is going, always communicate effectively and promptly.
Mm, mm.
Yes.
Well,
Don't
that.
make yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go on.
Yes, don't make that mistake of like, "Oh no, I'm frustrated with this deal and there's nothing I can do about it." Always be calm and make sure that you follow through,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. That.
regardless of how the deal goes. Yes.
Oh yeah, following up is something, many a times. So now, just to take following up now. So what is the right time frame to follow up in the conversations, even if you don't get to a conclusion at a point?
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
right time? Is it 1 week, 1 month, 2 weeks? What's the parameter to judge
Uh,
the time frames to do the
so
follow-ups?
yes. So I think first of all, after you have a discussion, or you have a negotiation discussion, always
Yes.
do like a recap of what you've discussed.
Yeah.
Yes, and if you've come to an agreement on next steps, let them know what the next steps are, and when you're looking to provide feedback on
Mm,
the next steps. Yes. So don't waste too much time, because sometimes when you waste so much time, the customer might get fed up and say, "You know what? I'm going to your competition. It looks like you're not ready for business."
yeah. True.
Yes,
True.
yes.
True.
So you don't want to wait too long to give feedback. Always give feedback. It's very important to give feedback, and don't
Okay.
waste time with it. If you need more time, you need an approval, always let the customer know that this is what I'm doing and this is when I'll get back to you, and make sure that you get back to that customer, because
Mm.
that could affect the deal. Yes.
Interesting. So I'd ask now, just to digress a bit. Have you ever been in a situation
Yes.
where you and a customer were at a deadlock? And how did you deal with that, if you have been?
Yes, that has happened.
How do you deal with that? Yeah.
uh, so sometimes you just need to sit back, reassess everything, and say, you know what, maybe do I need to talk to someone about this deal? Is there someone high up that I need to involve in this
Mm.
deal?
Mm.
Yes. Can I make concessions? We talked about making concessions.
Yes.
If the deadlock has to do with pricing, what can I do? Because at the end of the day, you want to create a win-win situation.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
You also have to look at interests. You know,
Mhm.
what are their concerns? How best can I address those concerns in a way that each party ends up like benefiting mutually?
Mm.
Yes. So when you get to that bridge, always take a step back. If you need to involve someone else, involve them. If you need to be flexible. Be flexible. What can I do to make this deal move forward?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So and with that, when so that has worked for you, that
Yes.
has helped get out from sticky situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a proven strategy. Interesting. So if there are times where you get a situation where a customer says, "Oh, I want this deal at X amount,"
Yes.
and you have maxed out on your capacity to give
Yes.
discounts, right?
Yes.
Would you walk away from that situation? Or would you say, hey, now pull in? And remember, mind you, maxing out of your discounts means that that deal is going to go sour for
Yes.
you.
Yes.
If you agree to push further, then the deal is not much of a deal for you, but a loss for you.
Yes.
How would you manage that situation to say, hey, look, this is not fantastic for me. I respect that this is what you want. Maybe we'll have a conversation at that time. What would you do in such situations?
So there are different ways to go about it. That's why communication is important. So if you're looking at the customer's budget and their budget is a constraint, what can I do? Can I give them, so aside from concessions, can I give them a payment plan?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. If I tell them that, okay, I'll give you a payment plan and this is what you can pay at this point, and then we spread it out, would you consider that? So you can lay out different options to the customers for them to also explore, let them go back, sit down with their team to say, okay, this is what they're offering us. Perhaps we should take it. They've given us it. So it doesn't put pressure on their resources. Yeah, so you could offer them a payment plan. Another thing you could do is you could offer them like a multi-year plan, depending on what you're selling, or a volume discount to say if you're buying so and so number of seats or licenses, that will further reduce the price for you. Or if you sign a contract with us for a certain number of years. There was a customer I spoke with that was just getting out of a 10-year contract. I'd never heard that before. So I'm sure it was a strategy that company used.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they locked it. So you lock it in and say, okay, for the next 10 years, whether there are price increases, it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
So explore as many options as you can to make sure that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will sign the deal, but make sure that you have those options open to the customer.
Interesting. That's quite nice, and it's very valuable the insights you just shared here. So let's move it a notch higher right now.
Yes.
We need to talk about the sales war stories, your biggest wins and losses. Right?
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you, quick fire. Can you share a story that of a deal that Ingo has planned? Just quickly, what happened?
So quickly, there was a deal that, we had all the boxes checked and we thought, or that I thought was going to go through, but the customer decided to go with a competitor. But later came back.
Oh,
yes, yes. So that was an interesting one where the customer came back. Yeah. So that was it. Ended up
what happened? What happened? Why did he go bad in the first place?
Yes.
Why did the customer
So
turn
what was
back
paramount to the customer was pricing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So even though we offered similar features, similar services, they decided to go with the cheaper option, but it ended up going south. Yes.
Okay.
And so eventually they decided to come back to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is a good time to say this. There's this saying I've heard of, I keep hearing of late. Is say if you pay peanuts, you expect monkeys. So what that means is, sometimes, even if
Yeah.
it's cheap, just know that there are things, and if the services are about the same thing, or
Yes.
and it's cheaper, then you need to ask some questions, right? Sometimes, cheaper means that there are some things they're not providing. There are some
Exactly.
add-on services or the fine prints that they've put in to say, oh, we're not going to provide X, Y, Z while you go for this. It seemed like it's important that I was trying to rent a car for a trip,
Yes.
going into another country, and I looked at the options and I saw a car that was quite relatively cheap, £10 cheaper than what I was looking out for.
Yes.
And when I was going to fill out the form, I just saw that, oh, there are no insurances. The insurance excesses are not there. So I said, oh yeah, that's what it is. So
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm a reckless driver, but if anything happens, I'll probably pay out of pocket first for a huge chunk before they come in to fix it. So always look at those fine prints.
Yes.
So cheaper doesn't mean that it is the best.
Yes.
There might be some things that you just might want to look and see if it's worth it to go for that cheaper alternative.
Yes, because at the end of the day, it will cost you more.
Absolutely, to cost you more. Yeah, so that's one key thing. Okay. So another question: how do you recover mentally when you lose a huge deal? What are the rituals that you carry out?
We all know in sales, you win some, you lose some.
You lose some. Yeah, you win a lot, you lose a lot as well.
Yes. So you just have to take time to process it. I mean, it happens. Some deals, when you lose certain deals, like it will take a toll on you.
Oh yes.
Yes. And we know, how the sales environment is. Yes. So I think you should take time to process it. Like don't be too hard on yourself. Take time to process it. Don't be too hard on yourself. And go back, analyze where things went wrong, analyze the deal, the details, the negotiations, everything that happened, the whole process. Ask yourself, is there something I could have done differently? Is there just analyze what I could have done differently, and then it's a learning experience. Learn from what has happened, and then look at ways that you can do it differently in future, and then just move on. Because what else do you do?
Yeah, what should be? I mean, there are other deals to win. Other deals to win. So
the lessons you learned will help with how you manage the other deals.
An interesting ritual one of my sales colleagues have is that when a deal goes south, what he does at the end of it all is that if there are documentations that he has carried on or built with along with the deal, he takes up that document, goes to his backyard and lights it up, burns it, and it's done. Okay, I'm done grieving over the weekend, and the next day he's getting ready to pursue. So you should find rituals that will help you when things are bad. But one thing again is, first off, you have to do a postmortem. What happened? What went wrong? What went right? What do I need to chip off? What do I need to chip in? And once you do all that, take up all the documents. If you want to burn them. If you want to shred them, do whatever you want to do with them. But that should be done after the postmortem. So that if there are things you need to change in yourself, you need to change and learn. Don't go burning documents when you haven't done the postmortem. It doesn't help you.
You have to evaluate.
Evaluate. Okay. So finally, now, what career advice do you have for sales professionals, in the sense that for people that want to enter sales today, people that want to pivot into tech sales today, people that are listening to you today and say, Juliet has been inspirational. I want to join this. I want to see what she's doing, especially the ladies, who think that sales is a man's game and only for men. So what advice would you give to people like that?
First, listen to podcasts like this. You get valuable insights. Yes. So be curious. So one of the things I learned earlier in my career in sales is curiosity. It's a skill you need to develop. Always be willing to you want to know what's happening. You want to know what people are doing. So if there's something you want to do, they always say follow the people that are already doing it. Yes, and how they're doing it, how they're achieving their goals. Yes. So it's important to stay curious, listen to sales podcasts, develop yourself. What are the skills you can improve? Active listening skills, cold calling, content creation. What new technologies are out there that will help you in your role in tech sales? Can I take a course that will help me? So there are different ways of going. And then you have to be someone that is consistent, because in sales, you just have to keep going. It's like a never-ending cycle. You can't give up. Yeah. Yes. So consistency is also key.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Consistency is key. Never give up. Keep going. Keep soaring. No matter the arrows that fly it. Just keep running with it.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the sun will still come out at the end of it all.
Develop yourself. Yeah.
Yes, and talking about development, skills development. What skills have contributed the most in your success?
I would say curiosity again. I'm always curious, like, what if don't be afraid to try new things. So curiosity will make you try new things.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to, put yourself out there, build your brand, put relevant information out there such that people know you for something. So if they're looking for information, they're like, this person that always posts something about this topic, let me go to our page and see if I'll find something there. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to connect with people. Don't be afraid to engage with people. Yeah. So listening, communication is very key in sales. So you have to build your communication skills. You have to build, your skills connecting with people, engaging with people. Those are very important things, yes, that you need in sales.
Very important soft skills. And what I always say, and like as much as possible, you don't need to wait until you are in front of a customer to build all this. You need to find a sparring partner. It could be your friend, it could be your partner, it could be your sibling. You need to build rapport. And also test this. Like if you are in a bus station, a bus stop, set up conversations. If you are in an elevator, just have conversations with people, you are also trying to get the know the person, but also you're building up confidence.
You're building up,
it doesn't become like strange or foreign to you when you're doing it in front of
confidence is very key. Confidence is key. You're so right.
Yeah, that's important and that's interesting. It's a fantastic way to actually round up and close this session. So Juliet, before you go, I'd like to ask if people want to reach out to you or connect with you, how can they find you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn. It's a great way to connect. Yes. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. My name is Juliet Jemedafe. I'll be happy to connect with you. Send me a message. I'll respond. Yes. If you need any advice, from the little I know, I'll be happy to share with you.
Yeah, I like the humility. Little she knows. Okay. All right. Great.
I'm still learning.
Okay. Yeah, we learn every day, but the humility is.
I don't know it all. I'm still learning.
We all do. We all do. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Juliet's LinkedIn link to her LinkedIn will be on the caption of this podcast. So please do well to follow her and reach out to her. There's a couple of things that you want her to, touch upon based on what you learned today. She'll be happy to explain more or expand on it. All right.
And if I don't know, I'll be happy to find out and let you know.
Absolutely. Yes. That's a good one. one. All right. Thank you, Juliet, for your time. It's been a very, very insightful and educative session. Thank you for having us. Thank you for listening and taking time to give us such information. Yeah.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine, and I'm truly honored.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Wilson.
All right. Thank you, and that's all, everyone. Thank you all for tuning and listening. We'll see you all in the next one.